Every single second, your body is just swimming in this ocean of information. Light, sound, pressure, chemicals. But how does any of that stuff become the world that you actually experience? Well, today we're going to take a journey and meet the incredible biological tech that makes it all possible. I mean, really think about that for a second. These are some of the most fundamental questions, right? The universe, out there, it's just physics and chemistry. So how does all that get transformed into the rich, detailed, and, personal reality that's inside your head? What is that bridge between the physical world and your conscious experience? Well, here's the key. Our bodies are packed with this army of microscopic translators, and they're not speaking French or Spanish. They're fluent in the language of energy and chemicals, and their job is to translate all of it into the one and only language our brain can understand: electricity. Okay, so let's give these amazing little translators their proper name. We're talking about the unsung heroes of our biology, the absolute gatekeepers of our reality, our sensory receptors. Now, I know that sounds a little technical, but the idea is actually beautifully simple. A sensory receptor is basically a tiny receiver, kind of like a satellite dish. But instead of picking up TV signals, it's designed to pick up one very specific thing, a stimulus from the world around it. Could be a photon of light, a change in temperature, and its one and only job is to turn that thing into a tiny spark of electricity. That's it. This whole conversion process, it actually has a name. It's called transduction. And this is the magic step. This is where the outside world becomes an inside signal. So a stimulus shows up, the receptor does its little conversion thing, and boom, an electrical message gets fired off along a nerve, heading straight for the brain. It's like the most important relay race in your body, and it's happening trillions of times a day. Okay, so for this whole system to work without just creating total chaos, these receptors need to have some very specific skills. They're almost like superpowers, really, that let them do their job so incredibly well. So first up is specificity. And this is absolutely crucial. A receptor for light in your eye, that's a photoreceptor, it couldn't care less about the sound of a dog barking. And the receptor in your skin that feels the pressure of a handshake, a mechanoreceptor, it has no idea if the room is hot or cold. This specialization is exactly why our senses are distinct and don't just blur into one big mess of sensation. Next up, threshold. See, a receptor won't fire for just any little thing. There's a minimum amount of energy required to even get its attention. You don't feel every single molecule of air bumping against your skin, do you? Of course not. That's because they just don't meet the threshold. It's a totally all-or-nothing system. Once that line is crossed, the signal is sent. It's the ultimate bouncer, deciding what's important enough to report to the brain. Come on, we've all said this. Whether it's the hum of the refrigerator, the feeling of a new watch on your wrist, maybe even the smell of your own home. This feeling, this experience that we all know, it actually points to the third key skill of our receptors. And that skill is called adaptation. But here's the really cool part. Not all receptors do it the same way. Check out the fast-adapting ones. They fire off a bunch at first, then they just quiet down. That's why you stop noticing the feeling of your clothes. But then you have the slow-adapting receptors. These guys keep firing. They are constantly reminding your brain about something that's still going on. And we need both, right? It's really useful to forget about the chair you're sitting in, but it's absolutely crucial to remember that your hand is on a hot stove. So we have these highly skilled little translators. Now let's meet the full team. We can actually group them into different types, all based on the specific kind of stimulus they're built to detect. And here's the whole crew. You've got your mechanoreceptors that respond to physical force, that's touch, but it's also hearing, because sound is really just vibration. Then, chemoreceptors. They detect actual molecules, giving us taste and smell. Thermoreceptors, well, the name kind of gives it away, they handle temperature. Photoreceptors are those incredibly sensitive light catchers in our eyes. And finally, nociceptors. These are the crucial ones that detect tissue damage. Your brain interprets their signal as pain, and it's a slow-adapting, high-priority signal for one very good reason. It is not information you can afford to ignore. It is a direct command to protect yourself. So when you put this entire team together with all of their specific skills and all their different roles, what do you get? Well, you get the rich, continuous, and what seems like a totally effortless experience of reality itself. It really is like a symphony. Each type of receptor is like a different instrument, playing its part only when it's cued by the outside world. And your brain is the conductor. weaving all of these individual notes, these tiny electrical signals, into the single unified masterpiece that you call your perception. And the wild part is, it's happening right now, silently and perfectly.
And that leaves us with one last, kind of mind-bending thought. Our senses feel so complete, don't they? But they're built on a system that is super specific. We can't see ultraviolet light like a bee can. We can't detect magnetic fields like a bird can. So the reality we experience, it isn't the whole reality. It's just the version our unique set of biological translators allows us to tune into. So you have to wonder, what else is out there, just beyond the threshold of our perception?